Hello and welcome to another episode of Stock Shots. Please remember, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just giving my opinion based on some things I see, like support and resistance, supply and demand, and of course, some indicators that may be on the screen. So always do your own due diligence. Make sure you educate yourself and always look to the left because we're looking at things that have already happened. Think about what things may do in the future. So this is another episode of Stock Shots. Welcome.
All right, here we go. We're going to start with talking about the S fund here. So here in the S fund, you'll notice that we have a trend line up here. We're still going with this trend line. We're under it, but we also have broken another trend line in the weekly. So this was 2 weeks ago. We broke this trend line. All right, we had a strong bounce off of this trend line last week. Not this week that just passed. We actually got some moving to the upside, but we're still in a downtrend. All right. What we need to see is some strong movements going further up. If we can break this high right here at 2140, we can have a chance to go further up. Now, if we don't, this could be a slight pullback for a further move to the downside. We would then break this right here at 2012, and then we would look for this. So we have a support area, but then we also have another trend line here. So the outer trend line. That outer trend line is around 1800. It could be higher depending on when price gets here if it continues to break down. But it does look like we currently are going to get some upward movement. Look, we're all hopeful, but let's take a look at something else. I want you to understand something. And a larger time frame, in the monthly time frame, I want you to look at this. We've been slowly declining since here in December. It's been going down. If we continue on this movement, that trend line is the next area of real big resistance past here, that 2012 that we talked about in the monthly time frame. The reason I want you to look at the monthly time frame is I'm going to take all this stuff off and I want you to see something. If we're talking about just price action, I want you to look at the high here and the high here. They are not even. This first one is lower, this one is higher. But if we look at the strength of the market, this was higher and this is lower. So I have divergence in a monthly time frame. If this plays out, I could be looking at the beginning of an M pattern in the monthly time frame, meaning I had an up, rallied, I based, then we had a decline. We had this nice pullback. Then we had another base. Then we rallied again, made a higher high. Now, this M pattern plays out. We could look at least around to 1500, maybe lower. But around that 1500 area would be where I would look for a price to come down to. That would definitely be around that M pattern completion. It could go lower depending on what happens with price action in the monthly time frame. But also remember, this market is really focused on fundamental news. We don't know what someone's going to say. So that's it for this fund right here. Let's talk about our favorite, the C fund. So in the C fund, we have a lot going on. Same thing. I'm looking at almost the same exact chart. So I had something here I was working on. Let's get it out of here. I'm still looking at this to be a downward movement. All right. So we had a lot of buying volume. But here's the thing, I had a lot of buying volume with a small candle. That's not a good sign. I had selling volume, created a larger candle, almost the same selling volume, huge candle. Now, the buyers can step in here and they can try to push up. Now, this goes for the C and the S fund, but specifically this one for the C, we may just be looking at a pullback. So let's look at what's going on in the C fund and a monthly time frame. But first, let's take our drawings off so we can get a clear view. The reason I'm doing this because you really do need a larger um, or a bigger way to look at things so you can kind of understand more so what's going on. In the month, I could be looking at almost the same thing that I looked at in the previous fund. So the S fund. I got some highs here. This was my last high. This was back in August of 21. That's when the strength of the market was the highest. Currently, I'm all the way over here. It's not as strong. Even here, where it was super high, this was in January of 18. We haven't had that much buying pressure since then. It was huge buying pressure. We've been slowly declining. If I draw a line right here, you'll notice that we also have divergence. There we go. Price is going up, but the strength of the market is going down. So, if that's the case, I may also be looking at a decline in this fund as well in the monthly time frame. Now, if I do, I'm looking at this area here. Let's look at this outer trend line. This outer trend line is going all through here. And the next place is going to go, because I already broke this one in the monthly time frame. Down here, 49. Now, depending on when price comes down, if it comes down this far, major areas it needs to break though, 54.90, or sorry, 54.49, then 5200. That area, those areas get broke. It's all about this trend line. This one will have to hold up. Let's go back to the weekly. Currently, once again, looks like we may be getting a little pause here. Because I don't know. It just looks like we're not going to get a whole lot of push to the upside at this moment. We're probably going to continue going down. So look for a break of the current resistance, or sorry, current support of 5600, and look for it to meet down here at 5508 for our favorite, the C fund. So let's look at the international fund. So a lot of people will get into the international fund. It looks good. It's been strong. We have a close though under our trend line. Hmm. We did in fact get to that 85.21, and it just stopped right this track. So we had a lot of sellers there. I got a lot of selling, but a small candle. So at this point, I may be seeing some more buying going on. So if you haven't gotten into the international fund, do your due diligence. Look at it. Is this a good place for you to enter? Because it may have a little steam left in it, but it has just met one of its top resistance areas. So let's look and see what else we got. So for this one, I'm going to turn on the indicator, and we got one more level up here at 89. So that could be an area we could look at to take profit or have as a target. Um, but we still got one more to do. So international fund can continue up. Let's see what happens. Let's look at this bond fund. So the bond fund has been stalled out. Okay, it's stalled out. It's been going sideways. Now that it's going sideways, it really does have to break this area. So if it doesn't break that area, I'm not really interested in it. And that means if it breaks $99.42, and it has to close above that. If it can at least start by closing above that 99.19 area, I'll be interested. But it does look, it has some strength. It hasn't closed below this current trend line. It's been getting some good volume. This green candle here that we're currently on this week, we had a lot of buying pressure, and the candle was good, but it hit that area and pushed right back down. So we got the international fund and we got the bond market that could be giving us some good moves to the upside. The C and the S fund look like they could be. So if you want to learn how to do technical analysis, you want to learn how to trade, you want to learn how to turn this TSP money into some real money in your account that you can use every day, check out the website. Get a book. We got information for you. And of course, say something in the comments. If you want to see me do something very particular or a different market, let me know. I could put it on another segment that I do. So thanks a lot. I'll see you next week. Don't forget, hit the like button. This was a free game.